So I was asked to do a video about raids, dungeons, and fishing. This video will be about dungeons. I have some gameplay footage and I'll explain what to do. Things you'll need before you start is 4 enchanted netherite armor, like I have here. So when you're starting off, you can start with a netherite sword with 4 enchants, or you can go with one of these swords. I've always used the netherite sword and then upgraded to the ultra sword. It's very good later on. It's just like quality of life. But yeah, you can run it with a netherite sword. Ultra swords are pretty pricey right now. They're like, 470k. It's pretty expensive. Another thing I recommend is bring some revives. Your Pokemon will faint all the time just from either battling the alpha Pokemon or just doing the guardians later on. Another thing I recommend is you bring max potions and ethers. Ethers is just helpful if you run out of PP in a move. And golden apples. Whenever you're low, just eat a golden apple. Especially in the boss room, you get low all the time. Some legendaries will have like special effects, like they'll strike you with lightning, or just regular Pokemon can, depending on the Pokemon. So being healthy is pretty important. And if you can get a Terapagos, he gives you resistance too when you put him on your shoulder. It helps a lot in the boss rooms and with the alpha Pokemon. Something to explain when you're doing dungeons is dungeon streaks. If you complete dungeons in a row without dying or failing the dungeon, or just failing the dungeon, you can get a streak. 0 to 4 streak gives you a 1 in 20 for legendary, 1 in 100 for hidden ability, and 1 in 200 for a shiny. Ideally, you want to go to 15 to 20 for 1 in 8 for a legendary, but once you reach 20, it will go back to 0. Alright, you get into the dungeon. First thing you should do is look at the right of your screen. These are your tasks. These are what you have to do. There's a variety of tasks. There's guardians, alpha Pokemon, gems, stakes, and then there's PokeLoot and Gimmighouls. When you're going around in the dungeon, I recommend you put flags down. They tell where you've been and just a general good marker. If you're playing with other people, some people won't put down their flags. Just ask them to. It's pretty helpful. Coming up is one of the puzzles in the dungeon. It's like a maze. There's multiple different versions of these puzzles. There is sometimes just a straight up maze. Sometimes you have to crouch through a trap door. Sometimes you have to do parkour. Some parkours are easier than others. Most of the time, there isn't anything in the chest that you need for the quest, but sometimes there is, like gems. But generally, you don't need to do it. I mean, unless you want the loot, it's not like a necessity. Okay, so upcoming we have alpha Pokemon. They're according to the dungeon type. Sometimes they like have a weird typing because it's the Delta Pokemon. So you just want to take out a Pokemon and then kill it. Or you could just kill it if you think you could just tank it. These go to your quests. You need to do them. They're like in half of your dungeons you do. Okay, so what we have next is gems. We saw a gem at the beginning of the video, but I'll pause it and show you. They will be in chests. So whenever you see a chest, loot it. Look for the loot you want and make sure you grab the gem. It will go in your inventory, but it will disappear. And it will just count towards the total on the right. Okay, so this is what I think is the easiest task, but sometimes you'll just not find them. It's just luck based, I feel. But these are stakes. You find them in corners of the room all the time, or just like above, below, anywhere in the room. You just look and there's a stake and you right click it and it will go to your account to the right. So what's next is a Gimmighoul Chest. It's different from the chest you see where you can interact and you actually get like an actual chest menu. And the reason why it's different is because it's an actual Pokemon you fight. You don't have to catch it. I caught it here, but you just need to defeat it and it'll count to your task. I don't have the task here, but I still did it anyways. Alright, so here's a Guardian coming up. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just fight it like you would a normal trainer. And that's it.
In this run, I got PokeLoot, so I'm just running around, searching around for everything. PokeLoot is found like everywhere. You can basically find it on anything. You'll see me pick some up. With PokeLoot, you can drop like multiple items. There are Pokeballs, Ultra Balls, and Master Balls. They can all drop different things. Like you get Master Balls from them, Nether Stars, Tridents, whatever. You can also get the specific swords, like Ice Swords. You could get a Gigaton Hammer. You can get all the Ogerpon masks. You can get some gear. Just depends. Most of the time you're getting like rare candies. You're getting power items. You're also going to get max revives. You can get... Yeah, that's it. That's basically all the things you can get from PokeLoot, but they're pretty good to pick up even if you don't need them. They will spawn no matter what. So if you see them, you can pick them up just for loot. So there's also parkour in the middle of these dungeons. This one I'm on right now is Lily Pad. They are not easy, but you can get bamboo parkour, lily pad parkour, tree parkour. I'll show a clip right now of me failing a couple of times. The jumps are pretty difficult, but you can get through it pretty easily. You don't really get... There's nothing important on the other side usually. Like you won't have Gimmighouls on the other side. You won't have gems on the other side. It'll just usually be some decent items like netherite. You can get all the Charcadet stuff, all the Charcadet evolution items, some XP, some PP ups and max PPs. So if you can, you should run into the parkour area. Again, it's not needed to do, but it's optional, but it has some decent items. You can sell them if you have a shop, whatever you do. So here's a picture of the normal Pokeball loot, normal Pokeball PokeLoot. It's just everywhere. Then this is a Master Ball PokeLoot. They're just everywhere. There's also an Ultra Ball, but I didn't have a picture of an Ultra Ball when I was running these dungeons, so I just left it. But they're basically everywhere. Master Balls give you the highest rarity items. Like that's where you'll usually get like Master Balls. You'll get your Ogerpon masks, all that stuff. The Ultra Balls and Pokeballs will usually give you the power items, and then Ultra Balls will usually give you like rare candies, maybe some revives, max revives, all that. The rest of this is just me running the dungeon. So I'm just finishing off this dungeon, running around, doing whatever. I want to talk about /P. /P is like where you talk to your party. It's party chat. It's really useful to just talk to your party because everyone will type in chat and you won't be able to see it. It'll highlight your message yellow and you'll be talking to your party only. I think it will help you a lot just so you can talk to your party, see if everybody is ready. I did it right here. I did /P ready. Just wondering if everyone was ready to run the boss, but that's about it.
Another useful tip that I do over here is you click N for map. At least for me, it's N. You can see the whole layout of what you've seen. It's pretty useful. So basically, when you complete all the tasks, this is what it looks like. It would say boss room unlocked, and then you would go to the boss room, like any one of your teammates can, and once they enter, it will teleport everybody. See, in the boss fight, unfortunately, we got a Cresselia. I think that's how you say its name. And you just basically just kill it. You kill it like a normal alpha Pokemon would. And it has a health bar. It does have a stage where it will drop dripstone down from the roof. It's pretty easy to dodge, just saying. But like, you can't die by it. Once you're out the dungeon, it will put you in a battle with a Pokemon. And you can catch it, or you could just do /N battle in the chat, and you just leave it there. It will spawn you somewhere in the spawn. Like, it could spawn you like the Poke Center, the Pokemon, wherever you were last before you join.